In 2006, the Kingsport Board of Mayor and Aldermen approved the Public Art Program, which is administered by the Cultural Arts Division. Along with that, they approved the funding source, which is a percent for art from the capital improvement projects. And today, we are celebrating the Learning Curve, which is our first commission piece that we have done for the City of Kingsport. The Learning Curve and the Birds of a Feather is an art exhibit inside the Higher Ed Center are here today to be a tremendous celebration for the Public Art Committee. And we have also, since the commitment of the BMA, had tremendous enthusiasm from the citizens of Kingsport. We have a lot of private contributions. We have had 4 sculpture walks, and all of that is funded privately, and that is throughout downtown Kingsport. The Art in Public Places are exhibits throughout Kingsport. We have now more than 6 of the Art in Public Places exhibit spaces available to the public, which has rotating art, and we're excited about those. But today is our day to celebrate the Learning Curve here at the Higher Ed Center in Kingsport, Tennessee.
And I've said many times that if you can continue what good people have started in political office, Mayor Blazer and others, that's what makes it happen. And you know, instead of trying to undo everything that's been done, we need to continue to capitalize on the good that's been done. And I hope that is a lesson that we have learned well, that we can accomplish so much more if we just continue progress. And while we have a lot of other things in the pipeline, I don't know of anything that's more important to this community than education. And I cannot say enough about this Arts Committee, and Roy's going to introduce them all and to you, but sometimes you put together a committee and you think they're going to do okay. I thought the Arts Committee would do okay. They didn't do okay. This is outstanding what they're doing, and I have never seen a more dedicated group of people. And we have had people actually come up and make substantial donations to buy art for this city, which I don't think has ever happened before. And the people that deserve the credit for that is this Art Committee that has worked so hard and done such an outstanding job. And Bonnie McDonald, thank you for your leadership in that also. And as I said, you just can't say enough about what good people have done. And it does hurt me to say something good about Roy Harmon, but Roy has done a super job as chairman of this. And Roy, if you come on up, and thank you for leading this.
Thanks, Mayor. You know, Dennis and I both were trained bankers, and it's a good thing we have a Center for Higher Education here, because we both need retraining. I'm not sure there's going to be a job for bankers in about another 6 months. I don't know. But anyway, thanks you all for coming out today. There's everybody that had a hand in this, raise your hand in one way or the other. Jeanette, you had something to do with it. You know, I mean, there's got to be. I know everybody here has a dog in the hunt, which is why you're here, and I really do appreciate that. He's trying to give me credit, and again, we're merely picking up the ball and running it a little bit further down the field. But I hadn't seen Buddy Scott here today. Buddy was the first chairman of the Public Art Committee, and he's the one that really deserves a lot of credit from the public standpoint and from the committee standpoint, making this all work. Now, the reason that it really works is because of Bonnie and Beverly and the staff. They're the ones that actually get in and do something. This is we have people whose job it is to make this work, but they really do make it work, and they've done a great job in bringing us to the point that we are today. So the Public Art Committee, which is Buddy, Mary Banks, Bruce Shine, ex officio is Bonnie, Chris Campbell, Judy Smith, Brad Hoover, Lisa Ann. There's been some others that have kind of come and gone during the, how many years we've been together now? 5, going on 6. have really made all of this come about, and you can see some of the fruits of our labor. One is right behind us right here with the mural that's on the wall, and obviously we're standing under the other one, and we'll talk about some of the others as the day goes on. So, but the reason we're here today is to not only recognize the accomplishments of the City of Kingsport, the Public Arts Committee, the Parks and Rec, and all those that have contributed to this, and to dedicate this structure and Patty's Birds of a Feather, which is located inside. So again, I want to thank you all for coming out to take a look at this. And who'd ever thought we'd have Chicago art and New York art here? What about it? You know, so we've really hit the big time. But you know, my involvement in this started way back when I was on the BMA a long time ago now, thank goodness. But it was a time which I really am proud of. With Jeanette, I served with Jeanette and some of the others, and we really stuck a flag in the ground for the Educate and Grow scholarships. And there were people against that, believe it or not. And I guarantee you're going to have a hard time finding someone who wasn't for it. But there were people who were not, didn't think that was such a great idea. And some of them who were on, or one particular person who was on the BMA at the time, actually voted against it. So it's hard to believe. But they've gone on with the Educate and Grow scholarships, made it a success. Built this great building. I look forward to the next building here, and it'll be here. It'll come, I promise you, with the continued enrollment and all of the success that has been had right here. Then this is going to be a downtown campus, and will be Kingsport's college, and it will be the college for the whatever decade, millennium, century that it's going to run through. But it's really the college of today and the way of education, not only for today but of the future. And congratulations, Mayor, for being recognized for that effort by Harvard. Who'd ever thought you'd take some old country boys like us and get some recognition out of the folks up there in Boston. So, Bonnie, thank you all. But I'd really like to thank not only the mayor, but John's here, John Campbell, and the Board of Mayor and Aldermen, who had the foresight to recognize and to put their dollars where their thoughts were. A lot of public art committees struggle with money, and maybe that's why I came to pass, is that I could help from a money standpoint. But as Lynn said, that when bankers get together, they talk about art, and when artists get together, they talk about money. So without money, none of this would happen. But we got the percent for art passed. And that creates a steady stream of funding, which we need. None of this happens without some money. So thank you all for your vision and for making that come to pass. The Public Works Department of the City of Kingsport does a wonderful job. I mean, when we call on them to do the sculpture walk, and I mean, I think that's one of their favorite projects that they get to work on. It's certainly a lot more fun than picking up trash and mowing grass, which I used to do when I was worked for the Public Works. But they really do a great job. I also want to thank Mike Billingsley and the legal department. This is unusual stuff here. This is not like we're buying an object and bringing it over here and plunking it down, so you can go through the RFPs and the procurement process and that sort of thing that fits in all the little round holes that the city rules are. So they had to step out of the box and really create a new process to fill this contract. And I think we've helped Lynn write a new chapter for her next book about how to deal with the procurement process of city government. So Sandy Crawford is not here, but we had to go have a meeting with Sandy to just try to figure out how to get all this stuff paid for. But everybody was cooperative and really stretched to make this happen. So. I'd also like to thank the two artists that are here to be recognized today, Lynn and Patty, for your ability to see something here and the ability to have the creativity to pull this off. It's just everybody looks at this and looks at art in general and says, well, I could do that. Well, they can't do that. And so, again, thank you all for being here. Thank you for coming from Chicago. We're really proud to have you here again today. So finally, about the Public Art Committee, the future of the committee really is there's a lot left to do. We've only started. We've had great success with the 4 sculpture walks so far. Sculpture Walk 5 will start next spring. We need to be working on that already. You know, we need, if anybody here wants to contribute, we certainly would love to have a little bit more private money, if you will. But that's been a rousing success and really got us going, and really launched the art in Kingsport. And again, we get a lot of great feedback about that. 1 or 2 negative comments from time to time, but that's art, you know. So. We've got some new roundabouts with nothing in them, but they do have concrete pads. They've learned from Bonnie to don't do it after the fact. Go ahead and put the concrete pads in and the conduit and all the things, because we're going to come along, we're going to find something to go in there. We've resurrected some old pieces of art and relocated them into some places of prominence, and we've got a couple of those projects that are underway right now. New projects which will be funded in the upcoming months and years. Right now we're working on the aquatic center and the parking garage, and there'll be other things as the BMA continues to build, grow, and make Kingsport a better place to live, work, and play. So in conclusion, today's just another step in our journey to discover our public art inner self, and I'm proud to be a very small part of that. So I think coming up this week we're having some more dedications at V.O. Dobbins, which is another completed, you know, pretty much 99% complete project there with the splash pad. So come out and see what's been done over there. So thank you all for coming out, and I think Mary, you're going to talk about the selection how this all really came to be. So, and Mary Banks, we can't say enough about Mary. She has moved on now. She's left us, and we're sad about that. But she's been a great volunteer for Kingsport. She's been on the Public Art Committee from the inception. Is that right?
From the preliminary committee.
Yeah, from the preliminary committee. So, but she did she's going to tell you about the things that she did. But I can tell you, she spent numerous hours working on this project, working with Lynn, working with the selection committee, and. Believe me, there's a lot of politics and behind the scenes work that goes on to get this done in there, Mary. But we're sorry that you've moved away from us. She's moved to Blacksburg, but I promise you, it's going to be their gain. And good luck.
Thank you. Thanks, Roy. Well, I like to think I didn't move away. I moved to something, but I hope I never completely move away from Kingsport. And I'll tell you, my heart is just full to be here this morning and to have these 2 wonderful art projects completed. It's been 18 months since the committee first met, and there's some people here who probably feel like they did have 2 babies, and so that's the time it would take. But I want to say that the committee worked so well together. We had a selection committee that was composed of Lee Wang, the architect for the higher ed project, Chris Campbell, works for the city, Jeff Fleming, also for the city, and David Mason, who's the project manager on this project, and Bonnie McDonald and I made up the selection committee. And we really didn't know what to expect, but we got a good response to our request. And what really took us about Lynn Bossa was that she had found out about us, and she actually taught us some things about Kingsport and Eastman's products and different things about the history of industry in Kingsport that we might have known some of it, but we didn't know all of it. So Lynn had really gone to the trouble to learn about us before she submitted her project. And it's been a real process to get to this first site-specific piece of art. But the other part, which was Bonnie McDonald's vision, was that we would have a site-specific piece, and then we would have a community art project inside the building. And that's the Birds of a Feather. So we have the learning curve and the Birds of a Feather, and Patty Lawrence had the vision for the birds. And that was so perfect for Kingsport, because we have such an emphasis here on nature with Bays Mountain and all the wonderful birds we have here in Kingsport. So it just has all come together. It's so colorful. I just think both pieces are wonderful. And I'm just really thankful to both artists for their contributions. I would like to say that I think the finished projects respect the past in that they acknowledge the industrial materials that were used here in the processes, that they embody the present by creating a sheltering framework for community to form here at our wonderful higher ed center and in the surrounding community, and that they inform the future by acknowledging the Nolan Plan, which is so wonderfully preserved here, and so that our citizens will be informed about where we came from, and it helps us to go forward. So I thank you all, the support of the citizens. I will say that from the time this Public Art Committee formed, the support that came from the City of Kingsport was just almost overwhelming. We couldn't have believed. I think we needed this art because we just reached out and embraced it. So thank you all so very much for your support, and to the artist for the finished products. Thank you.
Okay, Mary and I are going to hand out the plaques. We have some plaques that are show our certificate, or really the certificates of appreciation, but they're just plaques that represent the work that's gone into these. I need to see who I need to, because I can't remember them all. So.
She said to go in order. Do you have a list?
No, we go in this order. So the first plaque we want to present is to Kingsport Tomorrow. I know there's several representatives of Kingsport Tomorrow here, so someone come up and accept your plaque on behalf of Kingsport Tomorrow. Thank you very much. Let's just all, if you could let's just all hold right here, and we'll stand in the shade up here, which is that's part of the purpose of this canopy. Mary, who's next? Oh, Appalachian Ironworks, John. John did all the structural work for this and created all this, did a magnificent job. So here's his guys. Is this the crew that put it up? They did a great job. Yeah. We're lobbying for Lynn to use them some more. They need some out-of-town work, don't you guys? Yeah. Curtis Cooper. Curtis, where are you? Curtis did what? Hey, Curtis, you did the bench. Is that the concrete? Okay, okay, very good. The concrete work. Okay. Ryan Neal. Ryan, are you here? Not in town. He's out of town. What was Ryan's?
Is there an Eastman person here?
Pardon me?
Is there someone from Eastman?
Eastman? Oh yeah, here we go. We have someone coming up here. Okay. We really need the artist up here to tell about all these things. She's going to tell us a minute about what all this stuff really means. So Eastman provided a lot of the materials. We got Lynn out in the lab, and she just went crazy out there, you know, looking at all this new stuff. So
We couldn't get her away from
yeah, we couldn't get her out of there. Gary Dalt. Gary, are you here? What Gary do?
Oh, that's
Gary.
Made it stand up.
Oh, Gary made this thing stand up. I'm glad. Yeah. David Mason. Yeah, as the project manager for the building. David, are you here anywhere? Okay, yeah. We really appreciate your contribution to this effort. It really, we had a great working relationship with the architects and with the construction manager and all the construction folks that are here. So, and Limestone Masonry. Is anybody here from Limestone Masonry? Okay. All right. Who else we got? Okay, and now, the last two, but not the very least two. But this goes to Lynn. Come on up, and we'll get a picture of everybody we can, you know, while we're here. And Lynn is the designer of this great project, and let's give her a hand. She's done. She's really one of the leading public art artists in the United States, and she's included. Some of her projects include the Great Circle Route Terrazzo Ceramic Mosaic fiber art in the Indianapolis airport. If you go through there, the Arizona History Walk, Grove Mosaic, the Shade Canopy, a glass mosaic and laser cut aluminum. Among I don't know. There's several. She's got a bunch. She's got a book. She's written a whole book about this. So she's quite well known. And we'll let her say a few words about this in just a second. And last but not least is Patty. Patty did Birds of a Feather. Patty is, we're lucky to have Patty as one of our locals now. She originally came from New York, and you'll be able to pick that up in just a second when she says a few words. So it's hard to hide. But again, thank you all very much. And does anybody want to take a picture while you have us all up here?
I want a picture with Bonnie in it too.
And Bonnie. Yeah.
Tina's taking good pictures. She knows how to work my camera.
Okay, let's get a picture right quick, and then we'll let Lynn and Patty say a couple words, and then we'll have a hot dog. How's that? Okay.
Okay. Now, Roy, can you see Roy?
All right, thank you very much. Thank you all very much for your hard work. This is a great. This has really turned out great. Lynn?
Go ahead. I'm just going to talk very quickly. It was just, I didn't have any prepared remarks. I didn't think about that. All I was thinking about was having this be done. And it was a tremendous pleasure and honor to get to learn about Kingsport. I was raised in a small town, very much like this one, Bloomington, Indiana, so I really felt comfortable here. And I never would have known about Kingsport if it weren't for this tremendous opportunity. And the first thing, when I started delving into Kingsport, the first thing I saw was the landscape, those incredible ridges, and then I saw this town with this amazing town plan in the middle of these foothills. So I started researching, and one thing led to another, and I learned about the history, and I learned about the progressive vision that Kingsport has had from day one. And I learned about the plan, I can't remember what it was called, that was started about 15 years ago to build an education center so that you could figure out how to keep your town thriving, and that you would do that through education and having a trained workforce. And so I understood how important it was to have this Kingsport Center for Higher Education, and already what a success it was, and just what a smart town you are. And then so then I built this whole thing. I just wanted to use all local materials, all local fabricators. You have this huge history of aggregate and brick. I wanted to use aggregate and brick here. And then I wanted to use the new, this Triton that was invented by Eastman is a brand new invention. It's a monomer, not a polymer, and it's one of the first materials that can that's not glass like we've always had to use, that can stay outside. And if it scratches, all you have to do is just hold like a torch to it, and the scratches melt off. It's just amazing to me as a fiber artist, but it's not going to scratch. And I mean, it's amazing to me as a public artist to have a material like this, and I'm hoping to use it again in the future. But the thing that made this really happen was all of this local effort, and this is just a fraction. I mean, David was boots on the ground here, as was Bonnie, because I couldn't be here. I live in Chicago, and they just made sure that everything happened with excellence. And then Eastman gave me access. Curtis, I don't know if you invented new stuff, but he was just like totally understood my vision, and not only that, he added to it. We were real collaborators in the concrete finishes and just how to make it happen, and he just completely executed my vision. And then John and his crew, and Pam, you should be up here too. Come on, Pam. Pam was my main contact because John's always running around doing jobs, but Pam Robinson, John's wife, was my main contact, and she made sure John got on the phone, John got my messages, she made sure the paperwork got done, and that whole crew, I can't tell you how much of a resource they are to this town, because they really, this was a drawing. I'd never done anything this ambitious before with this many dimensions. And then the Kingsport tomorrow, I mean, all of this we would just be standing in a parking lot basically if it weren't for them. Talking about this today. Patty, what would I do without the inspiration and support of my fellow public artists? And then of course the art committee, you know, that had the genius to select me. And and then Bonnie, who was the point person on all of this, and just like every outstanding arts administrator, just remove the obstacles for me. And I will just wrap this up by saying that Bonnie and Mary kept apologizing and saying, you know, we're new to this, we've never done anything like this. I have to say, this is the most flawless, perfect, joyful, successful public art commission I've ever been involved with because of the people here and the people out there. So thank you, that's my speech.
If any of you haven't seen my piece, it's hanging inside over the stairwell, and it's created out of recycled PET bottles, and I have prepared a little speech. It is a very... I'll wait.
Is this coming down for you now?
It's a parade in my honor. Okay. Okay. It is a very rare thing for creativity to be recognized, let alone encouraged and rewarded. 9 times out of 10, artists' ideas are squashed by the people in charge, who are afraid of the unknown, afraid of taking risks. I feel so blessed and so lucky to be an artist in Kingsport, Tennessee, where the beauty that surrounds me inspires me to create, and where those creations are valued and appreciated. Thank you.
That's it. Oh, wow, that's great. My name is Lynn Besa, and I have had the honor to create a site-specific public art commission for the City of Kingsport called Learning Curve. And the reason it's called Learning Curve is because obviously it's outside the new Center for Higher Education, but because of the fact that it was the first site-specific public art commission that Kingsport has done, but also because when I looked at the history of Kingsport, Tennessee, and I saw how progressive it has been from day one, starting with the city plan in 1916 by, I think his name was John Nolan, and that's what I wanted to have represented in the canopy, was the city plan. And the continued forward-lookingness of Kingsport that has resulted in Kingsport, Tennessee in Eastman Chemical making its world headquarters here. And that is represented by the use of Triton, a new monomer invented by Eastman Chemical, which they donated for this. And this is something that would have great future use for public art. And then the canopy itself was fabricated by Appalachian Iron Works, which is a local fabricator. The concrete was done by Curtis Cooper, who is also local, a very accomplished concrete finisher. And then the masonry was donated by Limestone Masonry, and the masonry itself is symbolic because it uses Tennessee flat stone, local river stone. The concrete has stone in it, recycled stone in it from the actual local river. And then the bench is made out of recycled brick from Quebecois company. And there's so much more to say about how the whole, and it wasn't just the local people who made this, but it was the whole city of Kingsport, the leaders, the art committee, the mayor, the board of mayor and aldermen. I can't even, in Kingsport tomorrow for contributing funds or however they made it work. That was a learning curve too. So thank you, Kingsport, and I hope I get a chance to come back to this Shangri-La in the foothills.
Hi, I'm Patty Lawrence. I'm the creator of the Birds of a Feather hanging mobile installation at the Higher Ed Center downtown. I invite you all to come down and see it. The building is located at the corner of Market and Clay in downtown Kingsport. And each of the birds is created from individual PET bottles whose polymers originated here at Eastman. I was awarded the Community Outreach Art Grant from the City of Kingsport to create a artwork that would hang here, and part of it was for me to do outreach and teach people about how to create using plastic bottles. I I came up with the idea. Originally, I had thought of a bird installation for the atrium at the Renaissance Center, and then when this grant opportunity came up, I applied for it using the same idea, and I was lucky enough to win. And if you look carefully, you'll see birds created from bottles. Obviously, the green bottles are made from, Sprite or Mountain Dew bottles that we pulled out of recycling. So actually, maybe some soda, a soda bottle that you drank out of, is hanging here. But we'll never know. And the blue, brown, and pink ones I was able to order online. They're also made of PET, but I wasn't able to find those, in enough numbers to use, so I had to order those from a plastic bottle company. If you'd like to learn more about creating birds from recycled bottles or any other kind of artwork from bottles, you can contact the Cultural Arts Division of the city in Kingsport. And if you'd like to see more of my artwork, I've got a sculpture in the sculpture walk at the corner of Broad and Market called Balance. And I've got work hanging at Stir Fry right now. And I'll have 4 pieces in the Evening with the Arts this Friday at the DKA, Downtown Kingsport Association. And you can see my website at pattylawrence.com.
Cool. I'm going to get some shots of the birds from up here.
Am I a natural?
Yeah.
Ah!
I accidentally bumped the camera there for a second.
Oh, did you? That's all right. Okay, now I'm officially sweating.
Did we film a video with you
Yeah.
making these? Okay.
Yes. And I never got to see it.
I think it's online at mytown16.com.
Okay.
I'm going to have to watch it too because I didn't see the whole thing. These look really cool.
Good. Would you like to learn how to make one? Just watch the video.
Well, they look complex.
It was simple. When it first started, it took me like 2 hours each, but by the time I made 150 of them,
Yeah.
I was down to like 45 minutes apiece. Whipping those out like
So did you use heat?
a heat gun, yeah. Yeah, I would, heat the bottle, and that would make it cut easier, and then I could bend it with the pliers and everything, and then I just used screws to attach it. But here's your microphone back.
Cool, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.